Last episode was the rules. This one, the lines hit the paper. Now, you can buy templates. They work. But they lock you into someone else's design. Someone else's proportions. Designing from a blank sheet, on the other hand, is harder than it sounds. You can do it, but it's not easy. So, I'm not starting from zero. I saw something that stuck with me. That's the reference point. From there, proportions move, dimensions will change. But to make that usable, we begin not on paper, but at the computer. Now, to get myself some templates, I am going to employ the modern version of an old model maker's trick. I'm going to use the image at the left. The one at the right just simply won't work. You want one that's flat on, and you need to be able to see the nut and the full body in image. It's also good if you know what the scale length is. Now to take this image and make a scaled drawing out of it, I'm going to use Inkscape. And I've set up my settings as an architectural C page, so everything fits. Landscape format, because I prefer that, and a scale of 1. I'm not exactly sure what this does, but if I don't change it, it seems to cause issues. And so right now, we just have an image. We have no idea what scale this image is at all. So to change that, I'm going to pull up the measure tool, and I'm going to measure 2 points. One at the saddle and one at the nut. This is why you need to know what the scale length is, because this is how we scale it. So in this case, I happen to know that this measurement is not correct. 515 is not a standard fender scale in metric. So to correct this, we're going to take the actual size this should be and divide it by the size we just measured. That'll give us a scale factor. Now Inkscape thinks this image is 800 by 800. Now we need to multiply that by the scale factor we just got, which is going to come out to be right at about 1,000. So we'll just plug that back in over the 800 and we will have a properly scaled image. Now there's one additional step we can take, and that is to pull up the trace bitmap function, switch it over to edge detection, and then play around with the slider till it seems happy in the preview. This way we can get rid of the main image and just have the outlines. Saves on ink and what have you. And then after that, it's just a matter of exporting. And we're going to export as a PDF, because Adobe Reader has a nice little function we're going to take advantage of. Now I've gone ahead and pulled this up in Acrobat. And the reason for Acrobat is simple. We're going to pull up the print menu. And with that, we need access to this, the poster function. Okay? With the poster function, we can leave the cut marks, labels on. We'll increase the overlap to, I don't know, 1/2 inch. You can choose whichever portrait or landscape you want. And what this will allow us to do is print this one large sheet out on multiple small sheets of paper and then align them. Now, one thing I prefer to do is I prefer to take this and print the tiled out document to a PDF as a separate one and then print onto paper from there. So if there's any pages I don't need, I can just not print them. Just me being a cheapskate, I guess. Big thing to make sure of, that your tile scales 100%. If you don't have that, you may end up scaling your entire guitar to, I don't know, a 3/4 scale or something. But there you have it. That will spit out our template. Now, I can already hear you say, he's bending the rules, because I'm going to say this is not included. You can tape together some paper to do it. You can probably find a hunk of cardstock or something. I do this because I want to keep my designs nice and neat, and I do recommend it, but it's really not required. Okay? This is an 18 by 24 inch, or basically 45 by 61 centimeter pad. It's really good for drawing body designs on. You can't go full size on it though. Okay. The first thing And there are ways to get around this. This is carbon paper, okay? So that we can do, or some might call it transfer paper. I view this as more important, so you can do layers and alterations, but it's really not required again, is tracing paper. I like the roll size because then I can roll out as much as I need. This is a proper ruler. This is actually a 5R ruler, okay? And what that means is it has both 32nd and 64th of an inch marks on one side, and the other side is divided into tenths and 50ths. The center line is one of the most important parts, the whole thing, because everything references off of your center line. So there's that. First thing is, just how wide is this beast? That looks like 16 inches, which most planers are only good to about 13, and I happen to know most guitar bodies are a real push to get through a 13-inch lunchbox, which means this thing is huge. We're gonna have to shrink this to start. So I'm just going around the edge here and putting reference marks in at a set distance. Then I will connect them by hand. I'm not going for a slavish copy here. This is just, you know, rough adjustments. I think now we are within my dimensional tolerances. Alright, so where were we? Most guitars are joined at the 16th fret. So if we pursue the 16th fret join, yeah, good old Stumac fret calculator. No, I don't want 10%. The 16th fret is at 383. I kind of like metric for frets, actually. I just find it easier. Alright. So if we assume that this is our fret join line, we need to be out 383. 383, 385. Right there. Right? And with that, our 24th fret would be located at 476 if we did 24. So if I go to 476, 475, close enough. That right there would be the 24th fret. We'll add a little bit more for the end of the... That's if I do 24. I'm not sure I'm going to. But that gives you 16, 24, decent length neck pocket. And with that, we can also add our full scale length. And since I know it's 25 inches... Now I know I could have done this with math, but instead it was just easier to align the metric ruler to the 16th fret join, then align the imperial ruler to the end of the metric ruler, and then measure in 25 inches. A little bit of a cheat, but hey, I got the rulers. 25 scale fretboard, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 fret join, give or take. Yeah, something is a little bit off in the math. I've gone a little thinner than for normal for some reason, but it's not as bad as I thought. Yeah, I'm missing millimeters somewhere. What have I done wrong? Oh, I know what the error is. There's an additional 3 millimeters per side because that is the trace of the string, not the trace, at least for this piece. It's the trace of the string, not the trace of the actual fretboard edge. So we actually need to add another 3 millimeters per side here. This is just one of those little traps. The nut width are almost always described as 42 millimeters wide, being the entire width of the nut, whereas the bridge doesn't include any extras. Just something to be aware of. Another option, I've got all the room in the world. I could slide this whole thing down a couple frets, get a little more meat on this, because it's still plenty of great access up here. I like that better. That fits the balance better. Alright, let's clean all this up. I'm leaving all this in because this is the design process. You do have to adjust, adapt, you know, try different things. It's not a straight line. Very rarely is it a straight line. Is it far enough deviated that I feel comfortable with it? That is the primary concern. And there is really no way to know, is there? You can come up with an original design and still not be all that original. Yeah, I can live with that. I really can live with that. Okay. Now, there is one thing I am going to suggest that you do essentially copy, and you only make minor design alterations to, at least in the beginning stages. And that is the headstock. The reason behind it is because the headstock has a lot of geometry attached to it that ties things together. Okay, hold on a minute here. I should probably address the elephant in the room. I know. 2 episodes in, and we haven't made one lick of sawdust. But remember, prior planning prevents pachyderm poo piles. Oh, really? Well, getting that out of the way, I promise, next episode will feature plenty of sawdust. In fact, I think we're just about ready to get started on the body itself. But until then, I'll see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.